Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard list review. So today's list was sent in by Matthew Schultz. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you very much for sending this list in, Matthew. And of course, thank you for being a Patreon supporter. Your support is really appreciated. It's absolutely fantastic. And thank you for increasing your pledge. I understand that you are now a heavy gunner, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that. I just want to say to all of you who are considering sending me lists in, if you are not a Patreon and you send me a list in, I'll just send you an email back with some advice and just some comments. If you are a Patreon supporter and you want me to do a video review, I am more than happy to do that. It's just a little thing that I can do to give back to my Patreon supporters. So without further ado, once again, thank you, Matthew, for sending this list in, and let's take a look. So, the list Matthew sent in is interesting. It's for a tournament, Adepticon 2018, and it is taking place on the 28th of Feb, and that's the 26th today, so I have left this quite late to review. I will apologise, but fortunately, I will say, Matthew, the list you sent in is very good, and I have well, not very good, but it's perfectly acceptable. I can see exactly what you're doing, and best of all, I can't see any major changes you have to make. If you had to make a couple of changes, they're only going to be minor ones. So, without further ado, let's take a look, not at the list first, but at the rules for this Adepticon thing, right? So, it's a team tournament. There's 4 people in each team, and each team member's list is 1,000 points, and there are specific team tournament detachments. There's the base detachment, spirited detachment, escort detachment, fire-based detachment, and command detachment. So these are a little bit different to the usual ones. Now, taking a look at these specific detachments, there's not a huge amount of difference. Essentially, the base detachment lets you take more troops, spear-tip detachment lets you take more elites, the escort detachment lets you take more fast attack, the fire-based detachment lets you take more heavy support, and the command detachment lets you take a Lord of War. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. The detachment that Matthew will be using is the spear detachment. So let's take a look at that one specifically. So this allows you to take 1 HQ and 1 HQ only, 1 to 3 troops, 1 to 3 elites, 1 fast attack, and 1 heavy support. Okay. So you've got a mix there, but essentially it's kind of like a fancy. Is it Vanguard detachment? That's the elite one. It's kind of like a fancy one of those. So it's a mixture between a regular sort of battalion and a Vanguard detachment. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And for that detachment, you get just the 1 extra command point. Is that correct? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I can see why you've gone for that one, but the base detachment does give you 3 extra command points. But look, I think the spirited detachment is actually quite good. It gives you lots and lots of elites, which is can be useful in a guard army. It gives you troops and elites. What more do we need? So, taking a look at the detachment, the HQ choice that you have gone for is a company commander. Well, that I support completely and utterly. You want if you've only got access to 1 commander, you might as well make it a company commander, because you've only got 1,000 points to spend, and a company commander is just a good all-round character. He can do a little bit of shooting, you can do a little bit of combat, but the main reason you want to take him is for his orders. You're going to need orders. So taking him is a really good idea. Now, you've gone for a company commander with a bolt pistol, power sword, and the warlord trait you've gone for is Master of Command, and the relic you've gone for is Petrov's Mark 45, and your regiment, I should say, is obviously Valhallan. Okay, that is a good setup for your warlord there. It's you know, you can't really go wrong there. Petrov's Mark 45, very good. Lets you be like the old Commissar. Allows you to keep your men in line. And, well, it's not a huge problem with the fact that Valhallans mostly ignore, well, not ignore morale, but take half the amount of battle shock as they should, thanks to Grim Demeanor. For those of you that don't know, the Grim Demeanor rule is units of this doctrine rounding up the rounding up the number of models that flee if they fail a morale test. So if you would lose 4 guys, you would only lose 2. So that's good. And also, you have gone for Master of Command, so you can issue 1 extra order, which is absolutely fantastic. That was the one I was going to recommend when I first saw this list. So essentially, not to bang on about it, but your HQ will be keeping people in line with Petrov's Mark 45, making you only lose 1 casualty to battle shock, if anyone within 6 inches. And also, you will be issuing 3 orders. And if you use Inspired Tactics, you can get 4 orders from your company commander. But I don't think you're going to need 4. Looking at the rest of your list. So that's company commander. Synergizing with that, we have the troop choices. And we have 3 squads of conscripts. Now, I know a lot of you will be thinking, conscripts? Why would you take conscripts? Take regular guardsmen. Well, actually, in this situation, I think conscripts are fantastic. You only have access to 3 troop choices, which means if you took regular guardsmen, you'd only be able to get 30. That's not enough. Now, because you've taken conscripts, you can take 60. Well, you could take more. You could take up to 90, but you can take 60. So that's really, really good. That's 60 conscripts. That is a significant amount of infantry to be taking at 1,000 points, and you kind of need that. And if you can conga line them all back to be within 6 inches of your company commander, you have the conscripts of old. They will be sticking around for a long, long time, thanks to Petrov's Mark 45. So I love that bit of synergy there. Now, I also love that your company commander synergizes with your elite choices. Now, your elite choices are 3 squads of veterans. Every squad is exactly the same. You've got a bolt gun, 3 plasma guns, a voxcaster, and a las cannon. I like that. I do like that. I think that's really powerful. 3 of them, that's 9 plasma guns, 3 las cannons. The only thing I'm not that sure about is, it's not a huge amount, but it's the bolt guns. They're only 3 points, but I can dig that. Bolt guns are cool. But the voxcasters don't really... I don't know how I feel about the voxcasters. I understand you won't want your... okay, I do get the voxcasters, but are they a little bit of a luxury at 1,000 points? Now, I understand why you've taken them. Okay, because if you didn't take the voxcasters, that means your entire army would have to be within 6 inches of your warlord, which would really, really hamper your ability to move around. So I do get why you have the voxcasters. My only concern is that with this list overall is that you are putting a hell of a lot on your company commander. He is the linchpin of your army, and let's be honest, he's a 4 wound toughness 3 5+ save guy. He's relatively easy for someone to pick off, or just someone's of psychic power. Blood Boil jumps to mind, and there's so many snipey psychic powers out there now. It does concern me that you've put so much into one company commander, but at the end of the day, you only have 1 HQ choice, so you're going to struggle. But whatever, it's fine. I think it works well. The final part is your heavy support choice. Now, you've gone for a squadron of Levan Russes, and you've gone for a battle tank with battle cannon, heavy bolter, heavy stubber, and you've gone for a vanquisher with las cannon, plasma cannons, storm bolter, and Vanquisher battle cannon. Now, let me be absolutely honest with you. I do not like the Vanquisher. I think it's a terrible choice for you to be taking. Okay, it's a waste of points. And the fact that you spent more points on it, it's just a bad idea. You just don't want to be doing it. You just do not want to be doing it. Okay. What you want to do instead is take another Lehman Russ battle tank. Okay? And I'm just thinking about this. You've got, you need some battle tanks because they can take. There's some good old fashioned take on jack of all trades, take on any threat unit. You've got your conscripts, which provide your anti-infantry and your screening. You've got your veterans, which provide your anti-tank and your anti-elites. You need some basic Lehman Russes that you can point at any target and they'll absolutely shred a chunk off it. Just tear a chunk out of it. And you want the battle cannon for that. You do not want the Vanquisher. You want 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks. Okay, you want each one to have a battle cannon. Now you've paid a lot of points on your Vanquisher for las cannon, plasma cannon, storm bolter, heavy stubber. No. Get rid of all that. Okay, you don't. That's too expensive. You basically want to be taking 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks and taking a battle cannon and then 3 heavy bolters on each one. Okay, and you can easily afford. I think looking at the points, you can afford that. Okay, I'm going to add up. You've got you've got your points here. So 156 for your current battle tank loadout and 194 for your Vanquisher. That's 350 points. If we go with my idea, 350 points versus 336 points. That actually gives you 24 points. You know what you could do with that 24 points? You could take the classic Lehman Russ loadout, the one that I bang on about on this channel constantly, where you take battle cannon, las cannon, and 2 heavy bolters. That is a unit which will destroy anything. That will be useful in any regard. Or you can add a couple of heavy stubbers into the mix, and you'll have. Oh no, sorry, I don't. That's not. Maybe I'm wrong. 1 minute. 1 minute. You've only got 14 points. Okay, right. Scrap my previous statement. You can't take my mistake. Slight maths error there. Slight wrongness on my part. So you'd only have 14 points. So you couldn't take 2 las cannons. Okay, fine. But that gives you 14 points left over. You want to take 2 heavy stubbers. Okay? That gives you 6 points left over. Honestly, spend that on what you want. Okay? That's 6 points you can do with as you please. Give your... get another conscript, for example. Or something else, my point is, why am I telling you to take heavy stubbers and 3 heavy bolters on each one of your... Lehman Russ battle tanks? Cheap firepower. Okay, the problem you've got looking at your army is you don't have a huge amount of anti-infantry. Okay, what you have, conscripts, they're not really anti-infantry. Okay, they're not. They can las gun down a few things, but you're not going to be using. They're only going to be producing between 20 and 40 shots each per blob. You're never going to put first rank fire, second rank fire on them. Your company commander's going to be there ordering the veterans around with the Voxcasters. And by the way, I should have said I actually totally agree with the Voxcaster now, because it allows you to spread your army out, and you can have 1 unit babysitting your company commander and then 2 other units 18 inches away if you need to. So I understand that gives you flexibility, but that means your company commander is going to be so busy ordering the veterans around, he's never ever going to order the conscripts around, so they just don't produce enough. They produce between 60 and 120 lasgun shots, but these are conscript lasgun shots. They're only going to hit a third of the time. If you fire long range with 60 conscripts, you get 20 hits against any kind of infantry, any decent infantry. Most, we're talking from Orc Boys to Space Marines. That's only going to translate into about 5 to 6, 5 to 8 wounds, depending on what you're shooting at. Okay, not even that many. 5 to 7 wounds is what you're going to probably get. Okay, most people's armor, that's like 6 orc boys killed. Big whoop. That's not enough. That's like a couple of space marines killed. Big whoop. That's not enough. You need some anti-infantry in your army. And that's why you want to take the Leman Russ with battle cannon, 3 heavy bolters, and a heavy stubber. Because the battle cannon can do okay as an anti-infantry weapon, and it can do, stay still, it's 2d6 shots. And it can do pretty well as an anti-tank weapon. So it gives you some, but what the key thing about the battle cannon is it basically gives you some long range shots. At the moment, the max range you've got is 48 inches. That's okay, but it's not super long range. Most other armies will be able to be in range of you as well. The battle cannon with the 72-inch range means that you can pick targets off from a long way away, and you can fire that battle cannon at any kind of target, and it'll do pretty well. The heavy bolters plus heavy stubber on each tank gives you some much needed dedicated anti-infantry. That's 9 strength 5 A-1 shots and 3 strength 4 shots. Okay, that's a total of 12 adequate anti-infantry firepower. Lasguns just aren't adequate if you're only bringing them in relatively small numbers. So that's what you want. So your Leman Russes will be able to fire the battle cannons off at some faraway targets or some high armor value targets, and in the meantime you can churn away, spit the lead out, 24 shots between those 2 tanks. That will massively that'll double the amount of damage that you're doing with your other 60 shots. Okay, so it will really help. I mean, you're looking at what, 12 hits, and then you're gonna, with the majority of those you're gonna be wounding on 3s. You're looking at 8 wounds. You've got a lot of AP-1 flying around there. That's another 4 dead space marines. That's a combat squad worth of damage done. You can, that's significant. Against orcs, that's just, or any other kind of light infantry, you're going to do, you're just going to shred them. You're going to absolutely shred them. So it is really vital for you to get those heavy bolters and heavy stubbers in there. But that's it. So, just to recap, I know it seems like I've been waffling on a little bit. So just to recap, the list is strong. You're bringing 90 infantry to the fight. That is good. You're backing that 90 infantry up with 2 bits of heavy armor. That's really good. 1 bit of heavy armor wouldn't be enough. 2 is good. I like the weapon loadouts on the veterans. Wouldn't change a thing. I like the amount of conscripts you've got. Wouldn't change anything there. I like that your company commander is able to support the entire army at once. Only slight concern is you've got a lot riding on that company commander. You're going to have to use those Leman Russ battle tanks to protect him from sniper fire. And a lot of those sniping psychic powers also require line of sight. Not all of them, so be careful, but at least you can reduce the amount of sniper fire company commander is going to take. The only thing I would change in your list, if I absolutely had to, would be the Leman Russ Vanquisher, and change it so you've got 2 battle tanks with lots of Dakar and lots of battle cannons. Tactics for this army, I think you know pretty well what you're going to do. You want to have your conscripts up front, absorbing as much damage as possible. You then want your veterans behind, and your battle tanks behind, dealing as much damage as possible. Now, one last thing to say is you've got to be careful. All your objectives secured is in your conscripts, and looking at these missions, the way the objectives are randomly determined and they pop up and down, you will need some objectives secured, and the fact that your entire objective secured is in your sacrificial part of your army is slightly worrying. But hell, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You've still got 60 objective secured bodies. That's good enough. So, I hope you found this list review useful. I apologise if it's too late and you've already submitted your list and you can't resubmit it, but hopefully it's one of those events where you'll be able to turn up on the day with your list and you'll be able to make these changes before you go. Okay, so I really hope that you've found this video useful. I hope other people have found this video useful as well, and I'll see you guys next time.